Season's greetings everyone, I'm Callum.
And I'm HoneyPandaBunny.
And I thought we'd get into the holiday season, and why not review something we love and that is festive. Aqours triple and duo songs were released on December the 9th, 2020, and with 4 songs on the album. While they are all inspired by the wintry time, something that I like is they're all not just Christmas gimmicky songs. We have 2 that are very connected to the holiday, and the other 2 are more personal stories that correspond to the characters, and I feel that they're actually incredibly well written. So what we'll do is we'll introduce the 4 songs of the Winter Vacation album, and then we'll give our thoughts and opinions on the songs, and then at the end we'll tell you our favourites from the album. So the first song is Kimochi mo Yume mo Issho ni Dane by Kuni Kida Hanamaru and Kurosawa Ruby. Our feelings and dreams together.
This song feels so bright and happy, and it perfectly fits these 2. I like the pop to it, and I can see myself listening to it often due to its upbeatness. Like, I've been listening to it a lot, to be fair. Ruby and Hanamaru's voices meld really well in this song, and I can't help feel myself smile at how complementary they are to one another.
The thing is, going into it, I already knew that Ruby and Hanamaru would complement each other quite nicely, and I think this song just pretty much cements it. And I agree with you as well, they just have lots of cutesy Christmas energy from the 2. And I feel that these are the 2 of Aqours that would really get into the spirit of the festivities. I could just see Ruby running around, the same with Hanamaru. And this song just feels like it's born from those wishes.
I will say that I think Hanamaru's sound here is particularly good. I think she sounds really nice in this song, and it really lets her shine. And it's always been a duo that I've wanted. Wasn't disappointed by it.
Yeah, for my overall opinions is that it's such a pure and innocent sounding song. And I could just see kids loving this song. I think kids would really get into this, because it just, when you hear it, it just gives off the impression of running around, starting snowball fights and spreading the Christmas chaos. The only thing I would say is that the song is a little bit repetitive. It has its set sound, and then it just keeps building on that. I wouldn't describe it as a particularly memorable song, but this would be really good on the background, like you just opening your present. This would like get you psyched up for opening presents.
I feel it is very Christmassy, and like you said, where like you can get excited about it, and it is one of those ones that kind of hypes up Christmas. And a lot of those, I don't want to call it like caroling, but songs, parts where they're both doing the do together, really nice, and it does also reminisce that carol Christmas kind of like spirit from it as well.
Namida ga Yuki ni Naru Maya ni by Matsura Kanan and Ohara Mari. Before the tears turn into snow. And compared to the previous song, this is a much cooler song, and it has a very solemn sound to it, which I think echoes the feelings of the lyrics. And I think this one's a much more intimate song, because this is Mari and Kanon, and in a way it's them reminiscing about the disagreement they had in the first season that led them to be apart, and them reconciling and always wanting to be together. And I think that rekindling a lost friendship is very much in tune with Christmas.
I feel that this song was really mature for them, which obviously being the older third years and moving on, especially in the movie now and past that, I'm assuming. I think it suits them so perfectly here, and like you said, reminiscing about that first season, but potentially even worrying that maybe now that they've grown and gone out of school that they don't want to come apart again like they have before. They don't want to leave each other again, which I thought was really nice. I also really love that guitar riff at the beginning, because that gets right into the tune, like right at the beginning. You know that it's going to be mature but also a little bit sad. Mari and Kanon's voices are really strong here. They've always been, I think, for me personally, 2 of the stronger voices for Aqours.
So Mari's always had one of my favourite voices. I think she's always sounded good on her own or in harmony with another. And I always think that Kanon is incredibly underrated, and I generally love the sound of her singing voice, and here she puts on an incredible sorrowful but hopeful performance.
I really do think that Mari has such a unique voice that there's so many things that can lend into that, and their voices working together was like so perfect. Mari has such a like distant and rhythmic voice here when she's singing, and it goes the same for Kanon as well, this like upset tone to them that you can't just help loving. This song for me is the perfect blend of soft and upbeat. It's slower, but not too slow that I can't find myself listening to it more often, but it's still not so upbeat that it takes off that, you know, that beautiful tone that they've got from both of them. This is just the perfect song for Mari and Canon, I think.
Yeah, I think together they create an enchanting duet, and I think it just feels right. You'd be listening to this in front of a fireplace as the snow's drifting down outside.
For me, this isn't as much of a Christmassy song as the previous, but it's still a really good one, and I think you can't always have happy Christmas songs. It's also nice to have a bit more solemn ones as well.
Misty, Frosty Love by Sakura Uchi Riko and Watanabe Yo.
So this has such an 80s aesthetic sound for me, and it almost sounds like a song that you'd hear in one of those old Christmas films that's like a chick flick almost. You can almost imagine the visuals as you're listening to the song of the two of them being upset in their bedrooms, like on the phone kind of thing. It really does set the scene for this song, and I love how upbeat it is, yet the song is about jealousy, so it's really interesting to have this juxtaposition between the two.
Of the 4 songs, this is definitely the most personal, and is perhaps got the most heaviest subject matter, and I really like that it's Sho that takes the lead initially, about her expressing her unsaid feelings about Riko and Chika, and it feels like this song is actually trying to bring resolution to the unresolved plotline of the 3 from the first season, which I never felt got the closure that it needed to. I really like this, just the imagery of Kyo wanting to freeze off her unexpressed feelings because they hurt too much, and she has such a strong voice here, but it's got like this sorrowful tone that carries into the second half where Riko takes over, who expresses that she's always just wanted to be close to Yo, and Riko's delicate voice plays off Yo's so perfectly. It's such a sad song, but again, like the previous one, it's also very hopeful, and it generally makes me want them to come to an understanding at the end.
For me, I actually thought that the song actually overpowered Yo's voice at the beginning, for me, but almost that has its own like elements to it. If you think, obviously Riko is supposed to be the songwriter, so potentially if they were making this song together, it's almost like Riko kind of wants to have her Yo's feelings be a little bit downtrodden by her own, so it was really interesting having that context to it. But I do actually think that Yo in the second half is a lot stronger, but I think that the reason why it might come off as a little bit, for me, a little bit like overpowering the song is just because Yo's voice actually goes so well with the rhythm, if that makes sense. That's why I don't think it necessarily overpowers, but maybe blends a bit better. But I think Riko sounds phenomenal here as well, but I preferred Yo's backup vocals for me.
Generally, I actually really enjoyed Yo's performance here. They had a little bit of auto-tuning, but they tuned it quite well. It was noticeable, but it wasn't obnoxious. And they just know in the song when to go high and when to bounce off each other. It's got some really catchy parts to it as well. There is a little bit of the background track that I'm not a massive fan of, like the record scratch. For me, I think it feels a little out of place, but obviously for you, with the 80s aesthetic, you think it fits right in. A personal preference, I wasn't sold on it. But generally,
it's a solid song,
story-wise, I think this one's my
solid
favourite.
song, and
when I hear the song, I do feel so sad for Yo, her feelings. It does resonate with me. Party Party Papa Party by Takame Chika, Kurosawa Dio, and Tsushima Yoshiko. Compared to the previous 2, which were very emotional, this is definitely a way of bringing the Christmas spirit back into it. It's very catchy and upbeat, and this is the one that definitely gets stuck into my head. I actually really like Chika, Dia, and Yoshiko. Really like them here because I thought initially that they would clash, because I feel that all 3 of them have a very distinct, different singing style, but they actually balanced off quite well nicely here. And I like how it gives off the feeling of them playing off each other, a very spur of the moment. You'd be on the Christmas day having a party, and then they'd all just be bursting into this song.
Yeah, I always knew this was going to be a fun song, like as soon as you read the title you're going to know, and especially because Chika and Yohane's voices are always bursting with energy and excitement. This song sounds almost like it's a musical, like it would be on a musical
Yeah, that's
stage
the feeling
number.
I was getting,
yeah.
was that it's like you'd burst into this song while on Christmas Day,
yeah,
or on
yeah.
play, yeah.
It's nice to see Dia's eccentric side as well here, because we don't often get to see her playing around much, so it was really nice being able to have her mature but fun voice mixed with the 2 of them and complement each other. Chika's solo bits were literally just like a musical, like right at the beginning. It fits with her aesthetic after all.
Yeah, Chika's always had like that stage play kind of.
And it just works so perfectly here. This one feels the most Christmassy for me, because it feels like not just a celebration of Christmas, but the whole year. So almost at the end of the year, when it's Christmas time, you kind of think about the whole year that's gone by and then celebrate the good parts of it that you can do, and that's what it felt like here. I also actually really like Chica and Dia's voices together, and I didn't know that I wanted those voices to be together until now, but it's something I actually want more of now.
And so that's the Winter Vacation album, and overall, what are your impressions?
Oh, I loved it. It was something that offered something like new. Each song had its own unique twist to it, and each of them had their own unique sound that I was so interested in all of them. And like you said, I feel like they have a longevity outside of just Christmas time.
Yes, I agree. I already said my bit in the beginning, but I did like that all 4 of the songs each have their own aspect. 2 of them are more emotional based, they're more story based, while the other 2 embracing more of that Christmas spirit. And personally, it's hard for me to pick which one was my favourite one, because I think one that I would definitely listen to for fun-wise is the Ruby and Honeymaru song. I think that is my personal preference favourite, but I do really like... all of them were actually really good, but I would say that that one is the one that will be my favourite.
Because of them all sounding so diverse, it is hard to pick a favourite for my opinion, so I think currently my favourite is Papa Party, but that's because it's during Christmas time and it feels the most Christmassy for me. But it could change throughout because I really like the 80s aesthetic of Yo's and Rico's song, and I really like how cute Ruby and Hanamaru sound, but also that solemnness of Mari and Canon, so it's really hard to pick, but for me it's probably Party at the moment.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.